Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. You know, your presence here means that you care about our community, and that means a lot to me because I cared enough about it to run for office. And I can tell you that standing here tonight, this is my first event since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and that really rattled me. And so in remembrance of Charlie, I wanted to start tonight's meeting with a prayer and a pledge. For Charlie and our country, Lord, we humbly ask you to cover us in your grace and bring us consolation in our sadness. We pray for the students in Utah that they may know your presence in their fear. For the friends of Charlie, please embrace them in your loving arms and give them comfort in their time of grief. We ask that you give strength to the Kirk family. Be with Erica as she leads her family in your way. Lord, we ask you to soften the hearts of those who wish harm upon others. Let them find those in their families who can be bearers of your word. Lord, we ask for your protection from the evil one who prowls about the world seeking the ruin of souls. Please, Lord, give strength to our country as we learn anew how to dialogue with patience, justice, and truth. We ask all this through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Let's stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much for that. Well, I can't think of any better way to spend a Monday evening than here at Second-Year High School with all of you talking about the issues that matter most to our community. For those who don't know me, I'm your District 4 County Commissioner, Matthew Holtkamp, and it's a true honor to serve you in this way. Tonight, I'm joined by some of Gwinnett County's top leaders who are working hard with issues that affect you every day. I also noticed we have a Mulberry City Councilman, Tim Sullivan. Tim, thanks for being here. Do we have any other city councilmen? Tim, did you see?
I don't think Michael was going to try to make it, but he was working at Atlanta.
All right. We also have some of Gwinnett County's departments here tonight. We've got voter registrations and let's see, water resources and safe communities. So after our meeting tonight, make sure they're going to stick around and answer any questions you might have. So some of our departments that we have represented tonight is Britton Lockhart. He's our Deputy Director. Britton, stand up, why don't you? He's going to be speaking tonight. He's Director of Traffic Signals and Roadways at the Gwinnett Transportation Department. I bet that's a lot of fun, doing computer modeling. Chief James McClure with our Gwinnett County Police Department. Thanks for being here. Roman Dakari, where did he go? Roman, thank you for being here. Gwinnett County Planning and Development. So their expertise is vital, a part of our work, and they're here tonight to provide you updates and answer your questions. I know many of you are deeply dedicated to promoting responsible citizenship and getting involved at the grassroots level. It's that work, your focus on the fundamentals, that keep our community strong from the ground up. Tonight we'll discuss some of the key initiatives and progress we've been making in Gwinnett to give you a good look at what's coming ahead. Our economic development efforts in District 4 are focused on creating the smartest, most strategic growth possible for our residents and businesses. Across the county, we're committed to fostering a strong economy while preserving the unique character of our communities. To give you a closer look at this work in this area, I'm going to hand it over to our Deputy Director for Planning and Development, Roman Dakari.
Good evening. Good evening. It's great to be here. Thank you, Commissioner. My name is Roman Dakari, Deputy Director of Planning and Development. I oversee economic development as well as housing and community development in Gwinnett County. It's been an honor to serve this great community, and today I wanted to share with you some of the really cool projects that are happening. Just a few of them. We could be here all night if I were to share all the great things that Gwinnett County is doing, but I wanted to touch on just a few of them. At least the ones that I know that you guys have heard of them, and the ones that have been very prominent in the media. And I'll start with Rowan. There we go. Yeah, I got it. Rowan. So as you guys know, Rowan, 2,000 acres of knowledge community. This is where the county is attempting to bring researchers, knowledge community, the schools that exist in our community, as well as innovators around the world, and create a hub here in Gwinnett County where they could practice their prospective disciplines. And this Rowan, this 2,000 acres, is going to concentrate on specific 3 scientific disciplines. And we've already seen a lot of attention given on this project. We get calls and interest from research and development companies around the world, not just United States, but a lot of European countries that have shown interest in this site. So that's really exciting. And one of the reasons why it's exciting is at its capacity, when this is built out, Rowan is going to support about 100,000 jobs is the estimates that Rowan is going to have. And it's also going to be responsible for approximately $10 billion in overall economic development impact to the region. So this is a site that come to be because of the thoughtfulness and future-oriented our leaders are to make sure that one of the fastest growing counties in the United States has a place that it's fostering to employ about 100,000 people in the future. Very exciting, and that work has just started. I remember a few years ago as we were talking about Rowan, it was sort of a long-term future type of project. As I stand here with you today, a lot of the work that will make this project come to fruition has already been done or it's underway. And I just wanted to share with you some of the things that Gwinnett County has done to get this property ready for its vision. We have so far completed phase 1 of infrastructure improvement on the site. We're calling Complete Streets. This was completed in January of 2025. With an investment by Gwinnett County of $32 million, we've created 2 miles of new roads with complete street designs within the 2,000 acres, several miles of multi-use paths and new green spaces, full underground utilities, water, sewer, power, fiber, as well as natural gas is now ready. And phase 1 completion of infrastructure, this property or this site now could provide 800 acres. It could support infrastructure for 800 acres and future 22 million square foot of development that's currently anticipated for the site. On the Eastern Regional Water and Sewer Infrastructure, this was completed in 2024. $125 million project completed early 2024, created 5 miles of water mains, 6 miles of gateway gravity sewer, 7 miles of sewer force main, and then the Tucker Crossing Regional Pump Station on Harbins Road. So a lot of the work that the county is now putting on the ground is to get ready for vertical developments. And once you have an infrastructure in place for the site, with all the interest that we're now seeing from around the world, this site is on its way to being an employment center or corridor, not just in Gwinnett County, but for the entire region. Another project that we're excited about that we're currently working on that I wanted to share with you, and these are all in District 4, by the way. Ballpark Lane is a true mixed-use development, 17.5 acres, $62 million in total investment by the developers, over 6,000 plus square feet of retail, trendy restaurants, and construction is underway. We're anticipating this project to be completed sometime in late 2026, early 2027. So this is another project that adds much needed housing in Gwinnett County. When I say we're one of the highest growing counties in the United States, there's data behind that. For decades, Gwinnett County has doubled its population. From the 60s to 90s, every 10 years, the population in Gwinnett County doubled, making it the fastest growing county in the United States. Fast forward that today, we're still top 5 in fast growing county. We're anticipated to add approximately 250,000 people to Gwinnett County in the next 10, 15 years. And housing And it's not just unique to us. It's not a challenge that's just uniquely Gwinnett County. As we see the rest of the country, housing has been a challenge everywhere. The cost of housing has been a challenge. Being the fastest growing county, we need to have as much housing, as much density as we can in certain parts of the county for sure. And a project such as this, adding over 300 luxury apartments to this site, will go a long way in accommodating some of our future residents in Gwinnett County. And the last thing that I want to mention is another function from our Economic Development Office, and one that we're really very proud of. We just talked about how fast Gwinnett County is growing. This is also a county that is over 540,000 workforce strong, meaning we have over 540,000 people employed in Gwinnett County, mostly supported by companies that are in Gwinnett County from 125 different countries. Several Fortune 500 companies in Gwinnett County. So we have a very diverse employment base in Gwinnett. But to continue to be competitive with other communities around the Southeast and to an extent around the country, we need to think about what kind of workforce is needed for these new businesses and companies that we're working hard to attract and bring to Gwinnett County. If we don't know what these companies are looking for, it kind of puts us behind the 8 ball. The reason is the availability of talented, educated workforce is one of the #1 determinant for companies on where to go when they're looking for a new place to call home. So currently what we're doing is we're conducting a county-wide comprehensive workforce assessment to see where we are as far in terms of the entire county. Where's our education? When students graduate from Gwinnett County, where are they going? Are they coming back to Gwinnett County and work here? Are they living here as they go to work? These are all data points that we need to find out to better prepare our students for the future or these jobs that we're trying to attract. So what we're looking to do is trying to understand where we are, and then we're going to conduct a strategy report or study that will kind of show us where would our colleges and universities need to concentrate to get our students ready for employment in the future. And the companies that we're attracting, what are they looking for in terms of Gwinnetians and what they're looking to hire, and make that connection, make sure that the companies that are looking to hire and the schools that are preparing our workforce are aligned and ready, and our students are ready for the workforce. And that concludes my presentation and the 3 main things that are happening in our county, in District 4, that I wanted to share with you today. And that concludes it. Not in mine. No.
Thank you, Roman. I also wanted to discuss real quickly about economic development, something that I saw a need in our community. What it desperately needed was a CID for the Mall of Georgia area. Now, I've noticed when I've spoken to groups before, they don't really understand what a CID is. Can I see a show of hands of anybody who knows what a CID is? Just not a very low percentage. So let me just explain it. I think the best way for me to explain a CID is to think about the most well-known one, or one that you would recognize, is the one right at Sugarloaf Parkway and I-85. You might notice there's now a mural underneath that bridge. There's also, when you go up and down Sugarloaf Parkway, you'll notice the beautiful vegetation, and a lot of times you'll see at interstate exits all the flowers and the bushes, and you wonder to yourself, how does that get paid for? Well, that's actually investment by the local business owners trying to drive value in their area, to be inviting to you as you get off that exit, and to beautify our community. And so, of course, I drive the Mall of Georgia every day going to and from work, and a lot of times CIDs tend to come up from the back end when an area is a little distressed and these business owners come together. But in this case, I was like, we do not want another Gwinnett Place Mall where we're coming where it's a little too late. I mean, there were a lot of factors that happened to Gwinnett Place Mall and made it struggle, but we don't want that to happen to the Mall of Georgia. So after I got elected, I started prodding some of the business owners in the area, because there was really not a lot of conversation between those business owners. And we actually ended up having a study done, and that's what I'd like to share with you. So while no official CID exists at this time, our economic development team, Roman was a big part of this in the beginning. You guys worked with stakeholders and explored this feasibility. And we ended up hiring someone to conduct a 3-month study, and it is now back. And the results are very encouraging. That study found that the CID is indeed feasible and could generate up to $2.5 million annually, potentially making it the largest CID in Gwinnett County. The consultants also created a master list of potential member owners and their properties, along with an interactive map guide. So this is optional for business owners. Based on these strong results, the Gwinnett Chamber has now hired Lead Head Consulting to engage with local businesses and to work with creating a Mall of Georgia CID. They've set the goal of having it in place by fall 2026. Meetings have already been held with local representatives of the Mall of Georgia, and executives there have expressed initial interest. Consultants are also working with county staff, Atlas Engineering, and local businesses to develop a list of projects and programs to be undertaken by the CID. They've begun reaching out to individual property owners in person and by phone and email. The first property owner information and creation meeting was held at the Gwinnett Chamber last Friday. So I look forward to sharing more information with you as that comes into view. Now our commitment to a strong community doesn't just stop at economic growth. We're also deeply committed to ensuring that growth happens in a safe environment. And I'm incredibly proud to work with our Gwinnett Police Department and what they do to keep our neighborhoods secure. We're fortunate to have J.D. McClure here with us tonight, and he's going to provide an update for us on the public safety initiatives and answer some of your questions.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Holtkamp, and good evening, everyone. As Commissioner Holtkamp mentioned, my name is J.D. McClure, Chief of Police here. I've been an employee of the Gwinnett County Police Department for 30 years. I've had the honor and pleasure to serve as the chief here for the last 4 years. Very, very proud of the organization. A lot of good information to report tonight. And so again, looking forward to sharing several talking points with you here tonight. One of the things that I always like to begin with, regardless of I'm talking to the community or if this is an internal staff meeting, is we talk about our mission statement. Why are we here? The Gwinnett County Police Department is committed to serving the community through the delivery of professional law enforcement services in an unbiased and compassionate manner in order to protect the lives and property of our citizens and improve the quality of life in our community, right? So we know mission statements got big in the mid-'80s, early '90s, and a lot of departments moved away from them, but Gwinnett County Police, we choose to lean into our mission statement. Ultimately, what I would like to have happen is for every single officer, every single professional staff member to see their job and duties right through that mission statement. So there are 4 key parts. Number 1, professional law enforcement services. If you envision what you think a professional law enforcement agency look like, it's probably not too different from what I believe, right? It's how we present ourselves, how we look every day in our uniforms, how we drive on the roadways, how we take reports, how we interview victims, how we safeguard evidence. So this list goes on and on. But the mark of good agencies is professionalism. Secondly, it's treating people in an unbiased and compassionate manner. So we live in a world now where compassion seems to be lacking at times. So we constantly remind our team the need to treat people with compassion and to be unbiased, not only in how we treat the community, but also how we treat one another. Protecting lives and property is ultimately what I am charged with, what every single officer and professional staff member of our department is charged with. And here's the bottom line, is that when we do all those things together, we improve the quality of life in our community. What we want to be able to do is have you go to the mall, have you go to the grocery store, have you go to the parks, and really enjoy life to the fullest. That's what it's all about, and that's what we ask our team. Our core values include integrity, right? Very simple, do the right things even when no one's looking. Courtesy, we want to treat our residents here with dignity and respect. Pride, tremendous pride in Gwinnett County Police, right? I believed 30 years ago when I submitted an application to this department that we were the best police department in the state. I still believe that today. And the reputation of this agency precedes us. And lastly, professional growth, right? So we want to make sure that we're having well-trained individuals out here providing services and that they're afforded opportunities to get more training and more education. So a couple initiatives that I want to speak to first is this year we brought on what is known as community service aides. And community service aides are concepts that are largely seen down in Florida, sometimes up in the Northeast, New York. So these are non-sworn professional staff members. So in other words, they don't have the powers of arrest. But what we ask these employees to do is to go out and handle calls for service that are not considered emergencies, right? They're still important to our citizens. But let me give you an example. So we have a gas leak, or maybe doing inclement weather, we have a tree down blocking a roadway. Or traditionally, I would have to dispatch an officer to that scene. That officer may be there for 2-3 hours, depending on how long it takes Georgia Power or some of our public utilities to get out and make those repairs. With the community service aides, they can go out and fill this same role, right? Then I can take that patrol officer and have them available to respond to domestic calls, auto accidents, or wherever the case may be. And these folks are ambassadors, right? So there's a stranded motorist on the roadway. Again, some of these lower priority calls that we can have these folks go out and handle. Now, the beauty of these calls, or this position is, we, can attract candidates at younger ages, right? Maybe these folks want to be police officers. They're just not quite old enough. They can fall into this role, and hopefully we recruit them as officers later on. Conversely, we see young people go to our police academy who are not quite ready for the training. They may fail in some way or just decide, you know what, police work's not necessarily for me, but I still have passion to serve my community. So I want to thank the Board of Commissioners for allowing us 6 positions this year as a pilot program, right? So we're going to test this program, and we hope to build it out. We hired 6 individuals for this position. We constructed a 6-week academy for those folks so they know what to go out on. In other words, we don't want an unarmed professional staff member going to try to handle a robbery call or what we would refer to as a call that's aggravated. So very excited about the prospects of this position. And one of the things that this particular position reminds me of is the need to listen to your employees, right? This idea came from our West Precinct. There was an officer in the precinct who saw this concept at another agency, who wrote up a proposal, sent it all the way up to my office. We took a look at it and said, look, this looks like good business. So the idea that you're listening to your team and you're willing to try new initiatives is important. So we're really excited about the future, and hopefully in some of our next meetings we'll have another update there. So let's talk about crime in the community in District 4. We have seen our crime numbers continually reduced year over year. And if you refer to the screen here, you'll see those numbers, right? So at the top, we have what we refer to as persons crime. So we've seen a 23.1% decline in violent crime. As far as our property crime, we've seen about a 9% decrease there. And I always tell folks, never take statistics for granted, right? We have seen a decrease in over 25 over 24, but also in 2024, we saw a reduction as compared to 2023. So how do we reduce crime? What is our strategy? It's very simple. There is a theory that we subscribe to known as CompStat. CompStat essentially stands for computer statistics. It's not a software. It's simply a theory of using computer statistics to drive performance, right? It's data-driven policing. So when we see crime trends spike, right, then we formulate a plan. The first thing is to gather intelligence, right? You need data to tell you what crime is occurring. Once you have the data, then you need to quickly deploy resources. So I have with me Major Amanda Kane, who's our North Precinct commander, a phenomenal commander and employee of our department. But when we have crime patterns, she's going to look at a plan, an action plan, get the resources. And we say resources, that means added patrols. We may use our air unit, our drones. We may go knock on doors to make citizens aware of what's going on. But ultimately, what we want to see is those crime numbers go down, right? So we gather the intelligence. We quickly deploy our resources. And then what we want to do is constantly evaluate the work that is being done and shift as we need to. So I'm very proud of the men and women in the police department, and a lot of what you all are going to see is the officers out on patrol, but the unsung heroes are sometimes the folks behind the scene who don't get credit. That's our records technicians, that's our crime scene investigators, our 911 communications officer. It is a total team effort to drive crime down, and so I'm super proud of the organization, and we're going to continue to do that. As I tell our team, we don't get complacent. Even though you see those numbers down, you still need to drive. So let's talk about one of the absolute X factors in our ability to reduce crime, right? Over the last 20 years, police departments have made massive investments in technology. And if you want to know what helps me sleep well at night, aside from the men and women doing the job, it's our team in our real-time crime center, okay? SACRC, it stands for Situational Awareness and Crime Response Center, right? So we have built out a center in 2020 and 2021 where we have literally thousands of camera feeds throughout our county, right, that are fed into our real-time crime center where we have analysts constantly monitoring live feed cameras. They're also looking at license plate readers. This team, and I have 3 of our officers back in the back, so Lieutenant Seth Bailey, if you'll raise your hand. I have Sergeant Thomas, and I also have Sergeant Warren. So this is the leadership team of our real-time crime center, and in the state of Georgia, we are absolutely on the cutting edge, right? So again, when you think about sleeping well at night, it's these gentlemen that lead that effort. So currently we have 13,000 integrated cameras, right, in our real-time crime center. That means 13,000 counties throughout the area that we fold into our real-time crime center. So what does that mean for you? What does that mean, and how do we work that? So let's say that we have an incident that occurs at Hamilton Mill Road and I-85, right? Our analysts are constantly listening to the police radio. They're constantly monitoring the calls that come in. So a lot of times, before the 911 center has even dispatched this call, the analysts are already in the area working live feed cameras to see what's going on, right? So we can track vehicles, we can track individuals many seconds and minutes ahead of what we could do before this technology emerged. So again, when we talk about reducing crime, this plays a massive role. So again, I'm not going to go into great detail. I'll let the team back there if you all want to stop by and see them. But ultimately, there are 2 types of camera feeds that we have in our real-time crime center. One is considered an integrated camera. An integrated camera means, let's take an HOA, which says we have a flock camera in front of our subdivision, and we are granting you permission to use that camera in the event that you need, right? Now, just let me be mindful. We're not constantly sitting around monitoring your cameras. But when something happens, we can immediately begin to search the area. The same thing would go for a resident that had a Ring camera, perhaps, in the area. So we have that. The other thing is we have an amazing relationship with the Gwinnett County Department of Transportation. So they have well over 300, probably 400 live feed cameras at these intersections. So we use those cameras. So something goes out, we're able to immediately go up and solve crime. And that's ultimately what this boils down to, really solving crime. The last thing I want to say before I move on from this is this also has resulted in what we call precision policing. Years ago, when we responded, and I worked patrol for over a dozen years, you responded to a call, you got a call of a black Honda leaving a business. And so, well, the problem is I get there, there's 6 Hondas, right? Which one do I stop? Unfortunately, we had times when we're stopping grandmother who just went to go pick up milk, right? The SACRC allows us to really reach out and grab that vehicle, and it prevents us from stopping people because those situations can be traumatic, right? You get pulled over, maybe you have a firearm pointed at you because we believe we're stopping an armed felon, right? So really, really proud of the work that those folks have done. I believe they received, I know they received an award. Seth, what was the name of the award you all received? Was it ACCG this year?
Yes, sir, that's correct. It was the ACG award as far as for accomplishment for the unit.
Right, so the ACCG awarded Gwinnett County an award for our real-time crime center and the work they're doing, so I really appreciate that. The last thing I want to talk about is community relations, right? And why is this important? Why is community policing important? Well, I'll tell you. One is safeguarding a community is a collaborative effort, right? We can't do our job without the community helping us. In the early 1900s, in the early 19th century, Sir Robert Peel, who's looked upon as the father of modern day policing, developed the first modern law enforcement agency in England. And he developed 9 policing principles, and many of those are still relevant today. But one of those principles he said was, we can never forget the idea that the police are the community and the community are the police, right? So we should never think of this as us and them. Like, guys, we are one. We need you to be able to do our job. It speaks to what we call police legitimacy. This is the last concept I'm going to talk to you about. Procedural justice, police legitimacy. Think about that. So procedural justice means basically when I, as a police officer, have contact with a citizen on a traffic stop, whether I've got to take someone to jail, is that I treat that person in the most just way that I can, even if it results in something negative for our citizen. It means that I give them a voice, that I listen to them, that I treat them fairly, and that I don't go into a situation with a preconceived notion of what has happened, right? So ultimately, when communities treat their residents, their citizens, with procedural justice, then you all bestow upon us police legitimacy. You give us the authority to police you. Unfortunately, that's what we have in Gwinnett County. We have phenomenal support of our citizens, but also we have phenomenal support from our Board of Commissioners. And I'll tell you this as somebody who could have retired in 2020. So I'm not getting paid anything to tell you that this Board of Commissioners has been truly outstanding when it comes to supporting public safety and giving us the materials that we need to making sure that we're compensating our employees the correct way. So I'm very thankful for them. Ultimately, I will be here after to answer any questions that you may answer or have. I'm always going to be accessible as your chief. And again, Major Kane is here to answer specific questions, perhaps about your neighborhood or any other questions that you may have. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you, Commissioner Holtkamp, for having us here. All right.
Thank you, Chief McClure. I will say that of all the, we just spun off Parks and Rec. Chris Miner's now a director, so we now have 18 departments. And I can definitely say that the police department's my favorite department. You have my full support. I mean, think about it. Our community, the safety of our community, is the bedrock of our quality of life, in my opinion. And so I hope you know that I fully support you guys. Shifting gears a bit. Wanted to share with you a little bit about another key part of our community, and what makes it great is our public library system. So many of you might know that I've been working on requesting a study to update. It's been many years since we had a study on what libraries needed to be updated. So I've been talking a lot with Chairman Beard of Beaufort and Mayor Brandon Hembry in Sugar Hill about the situation with the libraries. I know that my wife and I, we homeschooled our kids for many years, and we were high users of the Beaufort library system. And so I knew that library was very old. In the last study, Mountain Park and Beaufort were the 2 oldest libraries. And so I knew that something needed to be updated there, and the conversations had to begin about a library. And of course, Mayor Hembry really wants a library. Sugar Hill is now larger in population than Beaufort. And so it is time for an updated study just to see what that looks like in the future. One thing I've noticed as a commissioner is things take a lot longer to happen in government. And so those conversations need to start way in advance. I mean, you think about, since we're here at Second Year High School, it wasn't that long ago, we actually had a town hall specifically about having a park, coming up with some kind of specialized park just for this high school. And so those are other conversations that need to be had, because most of this stuff is funded through SPLOST. And SPLOST, these conversations about what's going to be funded under SPLOST will happen in 2027. That's why we need to have this library study completed. So that's something that I've been working on. We're also we're committed to investing in a brighter future through the ways of our transportation. That's a big part of that puzzle. So before I hand it off to Deputy Director Britton Lockhart to see what's happening, I want to take a moment to highlight one of the most effective ways you can help us maintain the Gwinnett standard of excellence. And that's through the Citizen Self-Service Portal. Doesn't that sound exciting? Look at that. So that's an invaluable tool for all of us to help out in real time. Whether it's a pothole you see on the morning commute, litter along the roadside, or maintenance issue in one of our parks, your quick report makes a big difference. Requests can be submitted at gwinnettcounty.com/services. That will help us maintain this Gwinnett standard as a partnership. Your reports are crucial to help us remain accountable and responsive to our community needs. Now, to walk through some updates on our transportation projects, I'm going to hand it over to our Deputy Director, Britton Lockhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Holtkamp. Good evening. My name is Britton Lockhart. I'm the Deputy Director of Roadways, Traffic Signals, and Aviation at the Department of Transportation. I get the pleasure of working with the men and women that help oversee and maintain everything in our right-of-way. That's from the grass cutting to the 777 traffic signals that we have throughout the county, and even to the third busiest airport in the state of Georgia, just in Lawrenceville. So tonight, I wanted to carry on that conversation a little bit about the service request. The website, there is a QR code. Feel free to take a picture of this. That takes you directly to this website that Commissioner Holtkamp was just talking about. This, the Citizens Service Request Portal is a direct connection to the county. This is a great way for y'all to be able to communicate directly with us, whether it's at 9 p.m. at night or 6 a.m. in the morning or during the day. This is a great way to let us know of the problems that you have and you see out in the community. And it might not just be problems. It could be projects. It could be you want to see a sidewalk connection on a certain road. Please go to this website. It's a direct link. And it's just a tool. It's a tool to communicate to us. So the one thing I look at it is if you are going out to walk your dog tonight at 9 o'clock, right? We're not always going to have somebody to answer that call if you walk out and you see a street light out. You pick up that phone call at 9 p.m., nobody's going to answer. And we don't want to call the 911 center to say, hey, there's a street light out. But you can quickly go back in your house, log online, and let us know about that. If you aren't tech savvy, you can still call us. We still have people answering the phones to take that information down. You can email us. This is just another way that we want to be accessible to the community. And the way I want to look at this is let's work together and win together. The more information you can share with us, the more it's going to help us be successful as well. There's over 1 million citizens in Gwinnett County. We have 216 DOT employees. So that's 2 million eyeballs versus 432. That's a lot more eyeballs that are going to see something. You're walking your sidewalks every day. You're walking your streets. You're driving to and from home. If you see something, and I'm going to piggyback off Chief McClure in the past, he says something. If you see something, say something, right? If you see something wrong, let us know. Please do not assume that we know everything. And we see everything. So if you see buckled sidewalk, log in, let us know that address. The more information you can give us, the better as well. The more specifics. For instance, we get a lot of traffic signal complaints. Let's just say 124 at Hamilton Mill. It's backed up, a lot of traffic. We have a lot of people here. We have a lot of visitors. We have a lot of residents. The numbers are growing by the day. We just heard the growth coming in the next 10 years. So if you see something, say something. But if you see that traffic jam in the afternoon between, let's say, 4 and 5 p.m., let us know that. That helps us narrow that time frame down to see what improvements, what problems happen, what changes can we make, hopefully in the real time. Technology breaks. We can communicate with a lot of our traffic signals, but sometimes, as we kind of saw tonight, technology can fail us a little bit and pause. So pick up the phone, call us, email us, or use this tool to reach out. And as you can see in the very far left corner, I feel like we're getting the messaging out to the public, right? Making people more aware. And our numbers are climbing, and it's averaging. It's about 25% of our service requests come from District 4. So like I said, if you want to see a sidewalk project, reach out and let us know, because just so you know, when you enter this information, it has then been distributed to our team. So like if you have a street light out, for instance, that in the very next day when we get that, we will send it to a team that handles streetlights. And they will look at that, and then we'll get with our utility companies and say, hey, Georgia Power, we have a light out. We need you to come help us. If you want to see a sidewalk being done, well, then that goes to our program delivery capital improvements team, and they will look at it and see, do we have a project identified in this area? Or is it going on our universal projects list? Is it something that we need to look at addressing in a future SPLOST project? But it's all about the documentation, data-driven decisions. If we see that data, that helps us come the next time for like the special purpose local option sales tax, SPLOST. We love acronyms, especially at DOT. I just used another one right there, Department of Transportation. But I just wanted y'all to have access to this. Please feel free to share this with your neighbors, your HOAs, get the message out, and communicate with us. We want to hear from you. And like I said, we want to be able to win together. But I feel like if we have a plan and we know, then we can move forward. And next, the other topic I wanted to talk about is resurfacing. We have been very fortunate for many years now with the SPLOST program in Gwinnett County. It's been a very successful program, and we take the pennies that you spend when you go to Dunkin'. I'm not here endorsing Dunkin', but when you go get coffee, right, those pennies come back to us, and then we invest that back into the community. And one of the large components that we do is through the resurfacing program. Just in the last 3 years in District 4, as you will see the numbers up there, that's over 153 miles of roads that we have resurfaced just in District 4. That equates to almost $60 million. That is a lot. But the SPLOST dollars that we get, we also leverage with state funds to allow to be able to put back in your roads. And when I want to talk about the resurfacing program, I think of it as like a 9-layer cake, right? We get a lot of calls when our crews come in and they mill and tear up the road. We have to tear it up sometimes to fix it, right? We're all like that. We do have failures, and what we like to do is fix those failures before we put a nice topping coat on it. But a lot of times that crew will show up and they'll mill the road down. You see the grooves, right? They take it down, and then the crew leaves. And we get the calls, well, you just made my property value drop. The road's worse than what it was. And it's like, be patient, we're coming back. Not everybody is a one-stop shop. You know, there's one specialized crew that does one thing, and then the next crew comes in. But it's like a 9-step process between everything that we do. And I just say, please be patient. I know it's an inconvenience for you. You know, I'm trying to take my daughter to softball practice, and I get stuck behind the pilot truck. I'm going to be late. Be patient. The men and women that are out there working hard to do that, it's their job, and the window of opportunity for us to get as much resurfacing done is basically between March and November. And it's hard, and it's like, why couldn't you save that job to be done when school's out? Well, there's a lot of jobs that we do around schools, and if you haven't checked, we have a lot of schools in Gwinnett County. So it's hard. We can't always do everything when summer gets out. But I just say, please bear with us, because not only are these men and women working hard, just dealing with the labor, but they're dealing with material that's 300 and 350 degrees on a 90, 95-degree day. So I just say, give us some grace, give some patience, because I know you're sitting there in your car. At least you got the air conditioner, I hope, blowing on you. Let them be able to get that material out. Believe me, they want to be out of your way, and we want to have a nice smooth surface so you can get safely to your destination. So these are just some of the other facts that I just wanted to share with you before handing it off. I want to say thank you, Commissioner Holtkamp, for this opportunity, and to our Board of Commissioners that have been so supportive of all our departments, and to y'all, to coming out tonight. This shows that you're invested in your communities, and we are too. You know, I'm a Gwinnett County taxpayer as well. I'm fortunate to be able to work, live, and play in our community. And so I just say thank you for that. And with that, I'll hand it back over to Commissioner.
Thank you, Britton. Yeah, I'll make sure I give out your personal phone number so everybody can call you while they're waiting for the pilot car. Well, we've covered a lot of ground tonight, and before I open it up to any questions, I wanted to give a shout out to Katie Gill. Katie Gill is my executive assistant, and I should have introduced you at the beginning, I'm sorry, but what made me think of you was the self-service portal numbers. You know, ever since I was elected, I've been engaging with people as much as I can on social media, mainly through Nextdoor and Facebook, and really trying to make people aware of where they can go and where they can send an email, and inviting them even to email me. And if you email me, Katie's going to make sure that it gets addressed, usually the same day. And I do appreciate you, Katie, and we'll keep those numbers going up, because the more those numbers go up, that means we live in a better community. I really believe that. One of my big things is to have no litter in the roads or in the ditches. That really just drives me crazy. And our warden is so good. I called it was like last fall, called about Bart Johnson Road. It looked like a dump. It was so littered. And within the week, he had that whole street completely cleaned up. And so that's something that you can easily request on that self-service portal. So with that, if anybody has any questions for me, we're going to give 15, 20 minutes or so for questions. And so does anybody have anything for me? We have a mic, actually, if you want to be heard by the whole room. Would you like to stand up to the mic? No?
I just wanted to tell you something.
Yeah.
On the Bart Johnson Road, from the Orchards property up to the main road, Ridge Road, you don't have to clean that part.
No, you're doing that now?
No, my wife does it.
Oh, your wife?
Now, from there, back down,
Yeah, thank you.
it's like a third world country, back through there.
Yeah.
From that part,
Uh-huh.
every single thing.
Well, that reminds, so he just mentioned a part of a road. I'm not completely familiar with that, and I'll probably never remember that. But in front of you, everybody here tonight, there's a piece of paper that you can actually ask a question or make a service request. Katie's going to be picking them up at the end of the night, right, Katie? Yeah. And there's also a place for your email address. If you're not already receiving our monthly newsletters and district updates, go ahead and throw your email address on there, and you'll get added to our e-newsletter. So, do we have a quiet crowd tonight? I am going to stay afterwards, so if you have a question you don't want to say to everybody, I will be around. I'm not taking off anytime soon.
I've got a couple.
Okay. Yep. Oh.
Probably hear me here. It's real simple.
No, it's on video, so there's everybody out in the World Wide Web is watching you, probably in other countries. Right behind you.
Where is Rowan?
Rowan, that is right on the Gwinnett border with Barrow County, right near Auburn and just north of Decula city limits.
He never.
Oh, he didn't tell you where it was.
I actually heard the word Harbin's real low, and I got an
Yeah.
idea where it was.
Yeah, it's right where
Okay.
316 exits the county.
Right. Okay. Where is Ballpark Lane?
Ballpark Lane is right behind the racetrack gas station at Highway 20 and Rock Springs Road.
Okay.
Yep. Got it? Awesome.
If we can go back to the slide with that Chief had pulled up, if we could clarification on some of the numbers that we looked at. Just if we, I just wanted to clarify if the numbers for 2024
There you go.
were on the same sample set. Were they January through the end of August?
Chief, there probably want you to talk.
Or was it for the full year of 2024?
Understood. So thank you for your question. The question is the time frame. So this is January 1st of 2024 as compared to January 1st through August 31st, 2025.
So it is January 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2024.
That's correct.
Yeah, just it would have skewed the numbers.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's apples to apples comparison. Thank you.
I don't know if she's going to talk to you or me.
No problem.
Thank you. I'm Susan Rogers, and I want to tell you, you did a great presentation. That was really awesome. Don't you think you need some? That was really awesome. And I want to talk to you about those traffic lights and the cameras and all the eyes watching.
Yes, ma'am.
We got a situation over at my exit 118 on Gravel Springs Road and Camp Branch Road.
Okay.
The city of Beaufort has swooped in and taken up the whole area up there on both sides of Gravel Springs Road. I'm on the, what side am I on, Matthew? I'm on the Camp Branch Road side. That's where I lived for 27 years. Anyway, they've taken over the entrance, the whole entrance to our neighborhood. If you come down that road and at the curve, there's houses all the way to Hamilton Mill Road that've been there 30-something years. Beautiful residential area, quiet. Well, we're told the city of Beaufort and their, whatever it is, have decided that all needs to be warehouses. There was rumor of a truck stop going in there, but Matthew tells me, no, it's not going to be a truck stop because it's just not big enough. If it was, I'm sure they'd have one. But they're proposing a gas station with trucks will be able to come in there and get gas. Now, Camp Branch Road is a residential road. It has a load limit of 36,000 pounds per whatever those letters are. And we're wondering how those big tractor-trailer trucks that are coming out, they'll be coming out by the hundreds across Gravel Springs Road, and Beaufort wants to let them come down Camp Branch Road also. How is that going to be enforced that those big tractor-trailer trucks cannot come in there and get up in our neighborhood or block us from getting out of our neighborhood? There's been nothing done to fix the infrastructure there, which is insane in my opinion.
Okay.
Why plan things and just build boxes of this, that, and the other with no forward-looking plan for what's going to happen after you put all those boxes in there? Because it's going to be a disaster. You can't get across the bridge now at exit 118. If those trucks are coming out and 3 of them line up on the bridge, that bridge is shut down going north. Going south is not much better. I'm going to be talking to the state DOT about hurrying up with that new exit that they're building, which I don't know what the number will be, but I think it's going to come in on the that old road that ends right there at the Mall of Georgia, from like Morgan Road turns into whatever that is.
Okay.
And I think it's going to go right across there, and I'm hoping that they will. If we got to have a truck stop, God knows I love truckers. We got to have them. But there is a proper place for everything in this world. And exit 118 was built to take the traffic off of exit 115 at the Mall of Georgia. But they have allowed Beaufort to come in and turn it into worse, I think, than the Mall of Georgia exit. So my suggestion to the DOT is the state, because it's got to be the state, which you'll have to help them, because I'm already hearing every time I ask the state about something, well, that's Gwinnett County. They're going to do it. When I ask Gwinnett County, well, that's the state. They just pass the buck back and forward, which leaves us in limbo and open to all kind of speculation. But my suggestion is finish that exit. Start with the truck stop if you want one. They need one. Highway 53 is the last one that way. I don't know where there's another one down closer to town, but build the whole exit based on there's going to be a truck stop here, and all those warehouses that are going to now be coming out on Gravel Springs Road, make them exit on that new exit, and don't let not one of them come on Gravel Springs Road and ruin our neighborhood. I get very passionate about this.
The question is, how do you enforce that weight limit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
so-
about the cameras? Who's gonna monitor that? You don't think the honor system is gonna work, I hope.
Right.
Because somebody's very naive
Well-
if you think so.
Well, one, ma'am, thank you for your question. You're clearly well-versed on what's going on. And,
I
you
lived
know,
there a long time.
I see. So a lot of the zoning questions and how that's going to work with the Department of Transportation, honestly, I cannot speak to. What I can tell you, though, is to your question about enforcement. Major Kane is well aware of some of the concerns that residents have, and honestly, I don't live far from you, and I would have the same concerns. Beaufort City Council, obviously, we have no control over, you know, what they bring about.
Nobody does.
The only thing I can
Their
tell,
way of the highway.
the only thing I can tell our residents is that we're going to strictly enforce traffic laws. So on those roads where those vehicles are not supposed to be, we have a motors team that'd be more than happy to write citations as that occurs. So just know that we're going to enforce the law. We take that very seriously in terms of the peace and tranquility of our residents, and we want to see that continue.
The other question I have is about the traffic on Gravel Springs Road. There's more traffic now, at most times of the day, that can safely get through, get across the bridge, get on the interstate, come down Camp Branch Road, because we now have all this traffic that's passed through. They get on down at Hamilton Mill Road, and they come right all the way through our little quiet road, and they're there. So it takes, 2 or 3 lights for us to get out. God forbid it's an ambulance trying to get out, because you can't get out. A truck has to go, taking up 2 or 3 lanes. Build the infrastructure. Put it in place. If you even got a thought that that's going to be coming, put the infrastructure in place first, and then come on and selectively let whatever come in.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think it needs to be an engineer, because it just takes common sense. And I hope to God there's some common sense in this world left, because I'm not seeing a lot of it. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Common sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's hear it for common sense. Build the infrastructure and don't let them come out and ruin our whole area. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Common sense ain't always common, though.
No, it's not. My next question is for Deputy Director Lockhart. I've been an advocate in our community for quite some time. My last report from my friend Farouk Mokal was that the 5 intersections surrounding our high school here were failing by DOT standards, and made prominent by the work that I did with Coach Lottie, fighting for some safety precautions on Rock Springs Road. There's a deputy that would still be alive today if Gwinnett County took those seriously. So can you address the community here on what half of our cluster is going to be taken care of by Gwinnett County, and what's going to be neglected by Gwinnett County because of the city of Mulberry?
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for your question, and I'll rest assured that safety is our top priority. Like, we aren't just sitting around not doing anything. It was a tragic event that happened. Unfortunately, there was a life that was lost, and we're very sorry for that. But we have implemented some improvements in the area. We have been studying the corridor, and I know that doesn't bring back somebody, right? But rather than just having like knee-jerk reactions and just throwing things out, because one improvement may help in one area on a roadway, it may create another problem in another sense. So we are partnering up with some consultants to do studies to see what are long-lasting improvements for the area. And we will work with Mulberry. And Mulberry's a city, I see in the back of the room too, but we do have to work through a partnership to be able to make improvements through the whole community. We do that. We partner with every city, the CIDs. Our goal is for everybody to safely and efficiently move people and products through the county. That's our mission statement. And so I'd love to talk with you more about that and try to, I hear the concerns, we hear from the community, and I know we can't just swoop in and make corrections overnight, and it's very sad what happened, but we're making improvements each day to try to make it safer. So I do appreciate the question, and I'd love to chat with you afterwards. I'll give you my card afterwards so we can talk. So thank you.
All right, good evening. I know I came in fashionably late to the meeting. But I live in Lawrenceville. I just moved up from Columbus, Georgia with my family back in 2015.
Well, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. And what I've noticed that's going on right now, I mean, stuff's springing up everywhere. We got, townhomes, you got apartment complexes, you've got parks going up where I live at, Not here. What's that? No parks here. Oh, no parks, oh. Yeah, there's a park going up, just everything just exploding, So I
Right.
missed the economic development portion of the meeting. I'd like to know what's going on with that. Will it keep on continuing? Because, it's like, it's everywhere. I mean, you got more people coming in, but do we have the schools to, to seat the bodies in, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you do see a lot of development, and I hope answer your question. I guess just generally you want to know about the economic development and all the growth that you're seeing, and is it going to continue, or when's it going to slow down, or when's it going to stop?
Down, basically,
Well, I thought it would be interesting to share with you that for the last several months, even tomorrow night when we have our zoning hearing, there's no projects in District 4. There were none last month. The higher interest rate environment that we're living in right now is why there's just a lot slower zoning change requests. Now, most of the construction that you see right now is from parcels that have been zoned who knows how many years ago, and they're
just
just
coming to fruitation right now, then.
right. So it's interesting, I often wonder, Roman could probably answer the question a little more concisely about the ebbs and flow of the economic cycle, because right now, as your representative and at these zoning hearings, there just isn't any going on in District 4 right now.
Okay.
That's a really good question. And it's a difficult one to answer because for us in economic development, we don't want it to slow down, right?
Okay, yeah.
We're growth focused. The market doesn't allow us to do that. We have just recovered from the pandemic in terms of getting back to prices for construction and things like that. And it's still a lot higher than it was. I think we're in a slow downturn right now, not as bad as we have seen before. Growth is continuing in certain parts of the county. And Commissioner, you're right, there are some projects that are going to different parts of the county, but when it doesn't come to the public hearings, it could be because we're under a non-disclosure agreement, or a project could be confidential, as there are several projects that we're looking at for Rowan. So I would say that District 4 is growing, and a lot of the residentials and townhomes and apartments you're seeing are just a function of people wanting to come to Gwinnett County because we have great schools, we have great parks, we're still affordable compared to Atlanta. So with that growth coming here, we do need the housing to come up too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Two questions. My name is Brinston Williams, and
Hi, Brinston.
I live in Swanee, and it's not too terribly far from your site where you got the mural.
Very good.
So my question is, Chief McClure, the noise ordinance. And I live not too far from I-985, and I'm in unincorporated Gwinnett. Does the city or the county have noise ordinance that they patrol? Sometimes you get a lot of trucks, they use their Jake brakes, right? Jake brakes are just an engine brake system. And in most cities, you can't use your Jake brakes when you're coming into the city area. And I was just concerned, do we mandate that or regulate that, or is that just, that's the highway patrol folks that do?
Yeah, so the noise ordinance would apply to a tractor trailer as well, right? If noise is emitted at a distance more than, and I'll have to check, just flat out, because I don't know exactly. But the county's noise ordinance is right online, and so you're able to look that up. And so if we have a situation where it's a vehicle emitting that type of noise, we can still enforce our noise ordinance. So are you saying this is on I-85?
I-985.
On 985.
So 985. You got
So as they're coming through there?
As they're coming south, you hear them, and they hit the Jake brakes, and the thing's pretty loud. So.
Yeah. So
but you answered my question on that. I just wanted to know, did you guys patrol that? And then,
yeah. So 985, Georgia State Patrol will patrol that generally. Now, obviously, when they're not around 24 hours a day, we still pick up calls for them.
Okay.
But I would tell you what I would do is I would call the post commander and get with us afterward. We'll get you a contact and just ask that they work in that specific space there, right? That's something that they can easily sit on the interstate and kind of work on.
Okay.
That's an interesting problem, though.
Okay, appreciate that.
Wow.
And then the other one was McGinnis Ferry. I know southbound, they're building the southbound ramps to, I think, exit and also enter going southbound on McGinnis Ferry. And I wanted to know the time-wise, do we know when that's going to finish? And then I think the second phase is the north side of McGinnis Ferry, where you can get on 85, or you can get on McGinnis Ferry and then go north, and then you can also exit McGinnis Ferry, which I think originally, I read is going to take some of the pressure off exit 111 because it backs up.
Yes, sir. Let me look real quick, make sure
And I
if I
think
have
it's a
that in
safety
here.
because the roads will back up until the freeway off 111 at certain times of the season or time of the day. And it
So
can
I'm
get-
looking through my list. I don't know if I have that specific project.
Is that on the
in
state
here.
site? Can you look at the state site for DOT and they'll
Yes,
they
I'm
that
gonna
listed?
have to, I'm gonna have to get with that, because that is actually a project that is being managed by the Georgia Department of Transportation. So I can get with you afterwards and get your contact information, and I'll get that information and
All right,
get back with
appreciate
you
it.
on
Thank
that. So, sorry I didn't have that answer.
Yes, I'm Mike Thomason out of Decula, and this question is for you as well. In fact, your department did a great job. You just had our subdivision, Ashtonwood, resurfaced, and you're right, it takes patience, and he did a super job, so thank you.
Thank you.
Question for you. Highway 124 and 324.
Yes, sir.
There's a Kroger and there's a church, and that seems like be a terrible intersection. Are there any plans that you can envision happening there?
So, for everybody in the room, typically when you ride around the county, if you see a road that starts with a number like SR 124, 324,
Okay.
GA 20, those are all owned and maintained by the Georgia Department of Transportation.
Oh, okay.
So not every road in Gwinnett County is maintained by us. There's also city streets. But we are in constant communication with the Georgia Department of Transportation. GDOT is a lot of people refer. Once again, we love acronyms. But we are constantly in communication with them about improvements, and we have brought that intersection up. I don't know if you've driven through 324 here lately, Gravel Springs, you've noticed the resurfacing is happening. But we have brought up certain intersections, that being one of them, to the Georgia Department of Transportation for improvements. And so right now, I'd love to get your information and get back with you, because I don't have anything to report at that time besides their studies being conducted and looking at the traffic patterns and everything.
Okay, I appreciate
But
it.
thank you. Yes, sir. And thank you for the compliment. I'll share that with our resurfacing team.
Matthew knows I'm not leaving him left out. My name is Mark Johnson. I'm the founding president of Secondary Athletic
Hey, Mark,
Association.
I've met you before.
You've
Sure.
met, we've met before. So I signed for SPLOST funds to provide a park for the children, the almost 6,000 growing children of Secondary Athletic, of our cluster. And, you know, I know that we keep getting pushed back to 2027. You know, it's been since, you know, we started this journey in 2022. In 2023, we were made promises, and I signed paperwork with Nicole Hendrickson and Gwinnett County Parks and Rec, and then 2024, and then 2025, and it just continues to get pushed back. I wanted to give you an example of how this impacts the children that is part of the community. You know, this guy over here is looking for people, you know, outside the United States and building a Gwinnett County to bring more people in, but you have to take care of the people that are here now. And just as an example, we fought all summer to try and, just for a square of basketball court, the cost of a basketball court that we rent for our kids in our basketball association, and had to fight for there's 1,000 kids that are fighting for 2 courts at Bogan Park. And the cost that we've discussed multiplies by having to use the school resources. And the difference in that, because I rent 550 to 600 courts hours a basketball season, that's a difference between $8,000 and $32,000 for our children. And the recreation sports are typically for the kids that can afford the travel. It's the kids that are low to medium income that need the recreational sports to stay out of the, off of his list over there, right? So what I'm begging is that there needs to be more cooperation between the Board of Commissioners, Parks and Rec, Recreation Authority Board, the school system, because I've been bouncing around like a ping pong ball for 4 years, and we have done nothing to help these kids. So I don't know if there's any, I know that there's constantly talk, oh, Mark, it's been 4 years.
Sure. So your question is, how long before we get a Sechinger Park? Is that your question?
Multiple things. One, we have to cooperate. The agreement with Gwinnett County is that we would get park rates if we don't have a park. That did not come true. I've been making enemies with those representatives with boots on the ground because I'm fighting for these kids, and it's not their fault. It's the Board of Commissioners' fault, right? I mean, Jimmy Fisher and Athletic Director Poff made tremendous accommodations to host our first GFL meeting, or I'm sorry, our first GFL Saturday here at Sechinger High School. They shouldn't have had to do that. Like, there's been so much tension between me and, the park, the school system over the last 6 months. I've lost friendships, I mean, you and I got into it, one night, and I feel sorry for it, but I'm just fighting for these kids, man, and so to be able to have that, we would have this room filled if this was on a Wednesday night when we didn't have GFL. There's 100 coaches out there taking care of our kids, 500, 600 kids doing cheer and football. They would pack this room if it was a different time. Same thing with the Board of Commissioners meetings at 2 o'clock. Like, they're inconveniently scheduled for when, old people like me, I'm 50, I can come here because my son's in school up in Wisconsin, like, I don't have to feed him and I don't have to get him to cheerleading practice and football practice.
Well, thank you, Mark. I mean,
You're welcome.
I definitely let everybody in the room know that at our public comment at our meetings, we have two of the first and third Tuesday, we have a 2 o'clock meeting, and then the fourth Tuesday, we have a 7 p.m. meeting that's open for public comment. And the most that I've seen since I've been a commissioner is Mr. Mark Johnson advocating for the Sechinger students, no doubt about it. So much so that we had a town hall here even, and we had a lot of representatives up on that stage with a lot of parents. And I hear you. Your voice is heard. Everyone knows that we want to park up here as fast as possible, and we're doing everything that we can in our power to do it. Patience is key. We have so many different requests and things that pull us a million different ways. And the only way that it's going to be funded is through SPLOST or some other way that if the state legislators can get involved, who knows? But everything is open. So because we're holding this here tonight at Sechinger High School, and I've been a principal for a day here, I know the principal. I know what the needs of this area are. I first moved here 30 years ago, and Bogan Park had just opened, and that was Mill Creek had just opened. Over here, everybody had to drive to North Gwinnett High School. Bogan Park was built. I mean, this county is growing so fast. So just know we're here. And if there's any specific questions you have for me, email me. Let me go to work for you. Yeah, emails would be better. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Colleen Carey. I have a question for Mr. Lockhart.
All right.
Last year, when I went to Commissioner Holtkamp's 2024 town hall here at Sechinger, we had an update on the Sugarloaf expansion up in from Brazelton to the Mall, Georgia. Is that something that Gwinnett's still planning on doing? And what's the timeline?
Yes, ma'am. So actually, great question. Thank you for coming out again. I was here with Commissioner Holtkamp at the last one. Had the pleasure of being able to speak. But we are still working on it. So we are hoping to have a path forward by the end of the year. And we're looking at actually going from 316 all the way to PIB. So we have been working as part of the planning. It takes planning to make sure that we have long-term goals are met. But we're hoping to have a better path forward to be able to look at some plans for moving forward by the end of the year. So still no promises, but getting closer to the goal line, as if you want to use a football analogy. So thank you for your question.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yep, thank you.
Before you ask your question, I was just going to share that we are going to have an 8 o'clock hard stop. So I think we have 3 more people in line, so let's finish out the last 3, and then we'll call it a night, and we're all going to stay here up till 8:30 to answer any questions that you might have privately. Thanks. Go ahead.
I promise to be fast.
Okay.
I'm Lloyd Brodsky. I'm retired out of one of the companies that provides IT support to Medicaid programs. As it happens, National Council on Aging does a report on how many people are signing up for benefits that they're entitled to, and out of the 26,000 seniors and disabled people in Gwinnett County who are poor enough to qualify for having Medicaid pay their Part B premiums, only 12,000 are receiving that benefit. So you've got 14,000 people who are spending more than 10% of their meager incomes paying premiums they don't have to pay. Now, unfortunately, I noticed health isn't one of the people here, and although I'm aware Medicaid is a state issue, not a county one, I'm kind of wondering if this is something that has pinged on the radar of the health department or the Senior Services Center, because frankly, these are funded programs. They just have to apply. So I'm hoping this could be pretty easy picking for some people who could really use the support.
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy to report that Gwinnett County has undertaken a very large senior survey that, Katie, I was going to ask, has it completed yet?
It has not, as of, to my knowledge, it has not.
Do you know when it actually closes?
I do not, but they're welcome to reach out to the office, and I will be back in touch with them.
Yeah, it was very extensive. I must have spent 30 minutes with her on the phone talking just about senior services. You know, Gwinnett County has a growing senior population, so much so. And I remember when I was going through Leadership Gwinnett, I asked, why do we have so many people that are aging out here? Why are they staying here? I thought they all moved to Florida. And they said, well, no, the reason is because our school system. They're staying, the parents are coming, their kids are going to the school system, and then grandma and grandpa are coming to be with their grandchildren. So yeah, we're gonna just continue growing. And so we have several senior centers in Gwinnett County, and so that is definitely being talked about, and hopefully they'll be able to do some sort of public announcement on your program that you're talking about. Thank you.
Hi, I'm a mom of 4, and there are some familiar faces here. And I just wanted to say that my eldest child actually participated in the internship program the first year that you actually had. And following that, she actually joined the Police Explorers, which is where I know the chief from. But she did that for the last 2 years, and she is now studying criminology at the university at college. We'll see how that goes. But I wanted to actually thank you all for having these opportunities available for these younger people. You know, you look around in the crowd, and this is my first town hall ever. You know.
Welcome.
Thank you. I asked my kids to see if they want to go. They asked me, like, is it going to be boring? I'm like, yeah, probably, yeah. But the fact that there are opportunities to get them engaged, to get them to care about their community, to get them to participate, everything from volunteering to the Explorers to the internship program that really opens the door. As I understand it, my second kid actually didn't get into the program because, as I understand it, there were only so many spaces and 4 or 5 times the applicants.
Yeah.
So please do continue those, because
Absolutely.
we want to see the younger people actually come in here and be engaged in it. And my kids didn't show up last night. We'll see what happens next time. But I just wanted to say thank you for having those types of programs. It brings good to the community, long-term good. And so that was it. No questions.
Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah, I was going to say Gwinnett County has a youth commission, you know, and make sure you're on my newsletter, because we're constantly putting out those timelines for young people to apply. Thank you. All right, you're the last question. Make it good.
My name's Hoyt Tuggle.
Hi, Hoyt.
I'm 83 years old. I'm a lifetime resident of Gwinnett County, except for a couple of years during World War II when we were in Atlanta.
Thank you for your
I
service.
want to direct a comment to the chief. I lived 1 mile from Ark Way. I drove by there within probably 30 minutes of the time that those 3 county policemen were executed. And we hired Chief Hand. And from that point on, we have had continuous improvement, but the best county police department in the country. And thank you for your job you're doing. And now for Mr. Lockhart. I live on Rock Springs, just off of where the intersection of Sunny Hill and Old Peachtree is, where we just have recently put a traffic light there, but we don't have any turn signal lights. And when the high school lets out with the school buses, it's almost like a roundabout that's without a roundabout.
Yes, sir.
Are there any plans to put turn signals up there? It really needs it bad from Sunny Hill coming to Old Peachtree and from both directions on Sunny Hill.
Okay, now I know where you're at. Okay, it took me for a second. Old Peachtree, yes, Sunny Hill, going to Mountain View.
Right.
Yeah, off of 124. Yes, sir. There have been times, and there's several other locations throughout the county. First, I'm going to go back and double check on that, but there have been times where we have put signals in without having turn lanes, and then because the process takes long for engineering, we can pop a signal in really quick to make it a safer intersection, and then we've come back and added those improvements.
Yeah.
That may be one of them, because I know there's several others in the county that we're going to go
The turn
by.
lanes are there.
It's the turn signal.
Just the signal is not.
Okay. Let me get with our traffic team, because there's traffic studies that we do, and it all depends on the warrants based on how many turning movements. So I would love to get your information, and I can get you connected with one of our traffic engineers, and we can let you know the answers to that.
The chief wanted me to give one more plug to our Safe Communities group in the back row. Thank you guys so much for what you do, watching out over us and being able to solve these crimes so fast. So before we conclude, I wanted you guys to take a note of the QR codes up in front of you. These are ways that you can stay connected and stay involved. There's one that will connect you to the Gwinnett County social media page. They're constantly, every day it seems like, sharing something that's going on in our county. You can join a board or a committee, get the latest budget information, find out where your property taxes go, and watch our public meetings and town halls on TV Gwinnett. Our goal is to make it as simple as possible for you to get the information that you need. Transparency, you gotta love it. We're committed to making Gwinnett the place where people thrive and businesses succeed, and that starts with an engaged, informed community. So I recognize so many people in the room tonight. I will definitely stay. My wife is not telling me I have to be home at any specific time, so I'll stay all night if you want me to. Thanks again for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you.